Hey guys, I'm back with another video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the Aito M7. It's made in China, and we're going to go in and check it out for today's review. Let's get it. What's up, y'all? So we back with another video, but first let me just say it's been a minute since I've been on here. I've been a little bit busy, so I'm back. But as always, before we start a video, y'all always know that I ask you to like, comment, subscribe, hit your bell for notifications so that when I drop a video, you guys will be the first to see it. So with that being said, let's jump into the video and talk about this Aito M7. I'll up on the tripod here, and we're gonna get to talking about this electric car here. So this is the Aito M7. It's spelled A-I-T-O. It's definitely a Chinese model, and we're gonna get a little bit as far as price range, as far as mileage, how much you can get on a single charge, and maybe some of the amenities. They have any of those, which I believe they do. And so we're going to get into it and see what we're looking at here. So let's get a rundown of this vehicle here, because when you look at it, it's a nice looking vehicle. If you want to say that, it is definitely a nice looking vehicle. Okay, so the Aito M7 is based on the modified platform of the Finyon iX7, which also shares the same platform as the Finyon 580. The rear-wheel drive version of the Aito M7 has a 1.5 liter turbocharged range extender with up to 92 kilowatts power since the model year 2023, and a 200 kilowatt, 268 horsepower, 272 PS electric motor. So the four-wheel drive model adds a 130 kilowatt, which is 174 horsepower, 177 PS front motor for greater traction, and can accelerate from 0 to 100, or you say 0 to 62 in 4.8 seconds, with a combined output of 455 PS, 335 kilowatts, which is 449 horsepower, and 600 Nm, which is 487 pound-feet of torque. Okay, so this obviously has different battery specifications, depending on the one that you pick. I guess this has like different battery options. So that's kind of the idea of what it's giving you, the options of what it's giving you as far as battery power. So it also, interior wise, is a 5-seater. It's 2 rows, or a 6-seater 3-row. So this also comes with a 3rd row seat. I'm not sure if this one has the 3rd row seat in the back. We can check and see. Yep, it does. And you can see the 3rd row seat back there. There it is right there. And I believe the 3rd row seat actually flips down. Let's see. Yes, it flips down. So you can see the 3rd row seat actually flips down in the back. If you want to make room to add more cargo in the back, it gives you a little more room to work with in the back of this Aito M7. Okay, So now we know it does have a third row seat. And it says the second row comes with zero gravity seats, which unfolds to offer a more comfortable position for the passengers. Aito claims that by bringing knees and hips to the same level and ensuring the angle between thighs and torso is precisely at 113 degrees, could improve the blood circulation. Sound system of the M7 is provided by Huawei and comes with 19 speakers in 7.1 surround sound setup. Okay, so obviously it's got a nice little sound to it. Okay. And I wanted to get into something else too, because I'm looking at this car, right? And you could see how it looks. It's got a nice look to it and shape and everything. But I got to be honest with you. This car kind of gives me vibes of, when I look at this, I see like 3 other cars that possibly makes this car, because I'm seeing too many different cars. I see more or less like 3 cars. It's like 3 cars that pretty much come to mind when I look at this M7. And I want to say the first car that comes to mind when I look at this is the Lincoln MKC. When I look at the Lincoln MKC, it kind of gives me MKC vibes when I look at it. I don't know if it's the shape, but in some strange way, I feel like their styling cues kind of almost came from, or a little bit of it came from, a Lincoln MKC. But that's not the only car, or SUV, should I say, that I feel like they got styling cues from for this M7. I think another one, when you look at the front of this, I think another one that comes to mind is the Mitsubishi Outlander. The Mitsubishi Outlander has this specific look on the front end, particularly the headlights here. And I'm going to show you a picture of the Mitsubishi Outlander. Now, look at the headlights on this one here, on this M7. And now I want you to look at the front of this Mitsubishi Outlander right here. Now, look at the front of this Outlander, and you could see how the headlights kind of resemble the headlights of the M7. And looking at this Outlander, I'm saying to myself, the headlights kind of almost look the same, and I'm thinking maybe they took a little bit of styling cues from the Mitsubishi Outlander in some form, So I feel like this is another car that they took styling cues from when they came up with the M7. It just, first the MKC and now the Mitsubishi Outlander. Now, let's go to the third and final SUV. Now, looking at this, the third and final SUV that comes to mind when I think about this M7 is the Audi Q7, the very first generation Q7. Now, I'm going to put a comparison of the two on the screen right now. Here it is. Now, let's look at the comparison between the two. Now, as you can see, this M7 almost has the same identical roofline as this Audi Q7. You see how it comes up and then it has that slant as it goes to the rear of the roofline. And then when it comes off the edge of the roofline, you see that the Audi has kind of like what you want to call a semi-wing over the top part of the rear window, just as this M7 does, the exact same way. But that's not the only thing. If you look closer, once you come off the wing on the top part of the M7, now come down the back where the back window is. And if you come down and you actually see where the hatch opens, do you notice that the M7 has the exact same opening? It has the exact same lines on the back hatch as this Audi Q7. Do you see that? Do you see how it comes down? Because you know, when you open up the hatch on the Q7, the tail lights are actually fixed to the hatch itself. You see, so when you open up the hatch on this M7, it does the exact same thing. But as you can see, the lines on the back of this M7 looks very, very similar to the lines on the back of this Q7. Now, if they took a cue from any vehicle, I would definitely say most of their styling came from this Q7. Even when you look right here where all the side windows are, look at the shape of the side windows. Going from the side view mirrors all the way up the roof line and coming all the way down to the back window. And you can see like the chrome piece that goes around the window. It's almost the same as the Audi Q7. They did the same exact thing. And you can see it. So I feel like they took a lot of cues, most of their cues, from this Audi Q7. Because that roof line and those windows almost look identical. Especially the rear hatch. Just the way the lines come down. You got the mini spoiler up on the top. To me, those look exactly alike. And I feel like this is where they got most of their cues from, this Audi Q7. I think they feel like nobody would notice that. But I noticed that immediately. You know. And see, even now, let's go to the car itself. So, now that we saw that, now let's look at the car itself. Now, when I open up the rear hatch, as you can see, the lights actually go up with the car. Like, this is the way the Audi Q7 opens, the same exact way. As you can see, the tail lights are fixed to the hatch, just like on an Audi Q7. You see, when you open it up, you will not see any tail lights back here. You see, so it's the same way as the Audi Q7. The lights are fixed on the tailgate. You know, so that is one thing that I noticed with this M7 here. And I feel like this is mostly where they took their cues from when they were designing this truck. And, and like I said, it gives me Lincoln MKC vibes just by the wheels. Lincoln has a MKC where the wheels almost look similar to this. And then the front where the headlights are, it kind of gives me the vibes of a Mitsubishi Outlander. So it to me, it looks, it's almost like they took 3 SUVs and kind of put it into one, without making it look too conspicuous that that they tried to get all of their ideas from just one SUV. I just feel like that's what they were aiming for. They didn't want it to look too conspicuous, so and sometimes people ask, what is the range of this vehicle on a single charge? So the range would be about 240 kilometers. That would be approximately 149 miles. That's not a whole lot to boast and brag about. You can't really get far on 149 miles. How long does this take to fully charge? Okay, the charging time for this may vary based on the charging station used, but typically charging at home may take around 6 to 8 hours. So that's pretty much how long it would take to charge this vehicle. Now, the starting price of this M7, I'm sorry, starts at about $47,780. So that is the starting price for this. The battery capacity, it has a capacity of 40 kilowatt hours, which determines the amount of energy stored and the vehicle's driving range. Now, the top speed of this car is about 118 miles per hour. That is the top speed tops. So it's not really fast at all. It's just 118. So you don't get a whole lot. The total power would be 449 horsepower, told me, which would be about 335 kilowatts, you say. The total torque information is not explicitly provided, but is significant due to its high power output. Can electric vehicles be charged at any charging station? The M7 can be charged at most public charging stations, but compatibility with a specific connector type should be confirmed. And like I said, the price of this car is at $47,000. Okay. Now, let's get a closer look at this M7. Let's look at the interior and see what we get out of here, so we can get a good look at the inside of this thing. Okay, let's take a look. And as you can see, it does have a center screen dash. A center screen on the dash right there, as you can see. Has a nice white interior. Very detailed, as you can see. Also, you can see the armrest in the back seats hanging down from the second row. And as I showed you once before, this car does have a third row seat. You can pull the third row seat back up with a simple pull and tug. And there it is. It goes back up. You just pull on this right here, and it'll pull the seat back up. And let's get a look at the driver's side so we can get a better look at the driver's side of things here. And let's open the back over here. So now we can see on the inside there, and not really much to really see, but you can also get a closer look. There we go. You could see the digital dash, the information board right there above the steering wheel as well. And you can see it has a netted storage compartment behind the front seats there, if you want to store stuff on the inside. And as I also mentioned, you can also see that it has armrests right there in the back for the passengers in the second row, which is a very nice touch. It has a very nice touch to it. I ain't gonna hold you, it does have a very nice touch to it. You know, I do like the center screen that they put in there. You can see that there is something on the center screen there, which I think looks really good. They added a nice little touch to it. The two-tone dash, black up top, white down the bottom, which is a cool. And I think the thing I like the most is if you look right beyond the floor of the passenger and the driver up front, right there in the center, right below the center console, you can actually see they made it hollow through there. It's hollow through the center right there. If you can see it, it's right there. Now look right down in there, and you can see that it's actually a hole going through there. That would be a storage compartment down there in the center, right up under the center console, to where you can actually store things. So, you know, you have a lot of places in this car where you could store things. So they have that. You also have your general glove compartment, which you can store things. You know, you also have your center console behind the gear selector right there, in which you can store stuff in there. That's where your little cubby is. And then when you go back here, once again, you have this room back here, which is not a lot of room, but if you opt out, you can flip down your third row seat, and it gives you a lot more room to work with. So that's another plus. So you do have practicality, some form of practicality in this M7 that, you know, gives you some room to use as storage, which is a good thing. You can also see the speakers right down on the sides of the door panels. There's one on the front door panel, and then you can see the other one right there on the rear doors. The speakers, the surround sound speakers. So all in all, this is a nice SUV. And as I said, this is electric, so you're not going to get a whole lot here. You know, all of your electrical components is probably going to be up front. So, you know, that's kind of like what you're going to get here. So you're not going to really see much in that department. It does have headlights, as you can see, which is pretty cool. I like how it goes across the front there. And you can see it says Aito M7 right there where the license plate is, and it also has the Aito emblem right in the center of the grill. And let's look at the rear, and you can see that the lights are on there. It says Aito, and you can actually see what Aito stands for: adding intelligence to auto. Well, I don't know why the O would be auto, but as you can see, everything else matches up except auto. I don't understand why that is so, but this is what they put and this is what they added. So, gotta go with it. I don't understand the meaning behind it, but yeah, I guess that's what it stands for. So hey, gotta go with what they give you. So all in all, I like this. Oh, and then there's another feature I forgot to show you. You can also see that the door handles are flush into the doors. They are flush door handles. So I believe at some point that these have special doors to where, I guess, when you unlock it, the doors obviously comes out, or maybe you have to push it in to pull the handle out. I'm not sure how that works, but I believe it's going to be in that type of capacity to either where the door handles either protrude from the surface of the door itself, or you have to push in one part of the door handle for the other part to actually protrude out. So you may have to push it inward, one part of it inward, to make the other part come out. So maybe that's what it is. I'm not sure, but either way, that's probably how it's presented, one way or the other. So that's what you'll get from that. But this is the Aito M7. As I stated, starts at $47,700. It only gives you a 149 mile range, which is not a lot. Top speed 118 miles per hour. Takes 6 to 8 hours to charge on a single charge. So, it's not a whole lot to go off of, and it's not one of these SUVs that is good for long range trips. So this is probably a good city vehicle to move around in. If you're moving around the city or something like that, this is great for moving around the city, because you don't have to do long distance driving with this. If you're just moving around the city in this would be a great SUV to acquire. But let's check out the bottom. Let me see if there's any markings at the bottom to let us know where this was actually the company name for this. Doesn't have a company name, but you can also see the scale right there, which is 124. So it does not have a name because, of course, this was made in China, and this is one of their electric vehicles. So typically a lot of these are not going to really have a name per se, but you kind of get where I'm going with this. But put down in the comments below and let me know what you think about the Aito M7. Overall, I still think it's a nice SUV. It's nice for driving in a city. Nice little city car to get around in. I wouldn't recommend highway use for something like this because it's only 149 mile range. And you can't really get nowhere on 149 miles because people do a lot more than that on the highway. So let me know what you think about this Aito M7. And as always, like I always ask you guys to do, to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on your post notifications so that whenever I drop a video, you guys will be the first to check it out. And until next time, you guys stay prayed up. Blessings and good day.